Not everything in life is trolleys and trinkets, and these premonitory scenes of destruction and decay contrasting to the happier things in life shouldn't be ignored, lest we learn nothing. Across the street and behind one of St. Louis's crown jewels of commercial real estate, One Metropolitan Center, aka 211 North Broadway, lies a crumbling parking garage of our past, of a design we'll most likely never see again, morphed into a rather eclectic mixed-use combination of structures that look like they materialized into each other in a trans-dimensional accident. While I very much like looking at this block-wide pile of stopgap updates of purpose and architectural compromise that spans a century, it's unlikely American throwaway culture will tolerate it much longer. Now, I'm just a sentimental video artist and the sort who would make a video tribute to something as despicable as an ugly old parking garage, so you shouldn't look to me for the facts and gossip in this fortuitous foray of softcore urbex and fleeting personal memory, but I gleaned a few quick bits of trivia to SMH and reminisce about. In 1961 and 1962, this stood as the parking garage for the downtown famous Barr department store in the Railway Exchange building up to 2006, when they were bought out by Macy's, who ultimately closed the location in 2013. I have driven past it hundreds of times and have never known a time without this unique corkscrew data point of reference subconsciously registering in my brain as I survivalistically negotiated the pothole-laced urban driving style while dedicating no thought to a single establishment that lined its base in all that time, much less taking the time to even notice this little restaurant squeezed under 100 billion tons of concrete tower like a New York bodega. This probably also abandoned brick building must have looked just as out of place, even when it was next to the three more prominent terracotta-clad buildings built 100 years ago and torn down in the 80s for that fabulous, absolutely game-changing parking lot. Tortilla Grill seems to have been a victim to the ick, and I caught these last insightful looks while I could. On this end is a quaint and charming mid-century modern vehicle ramp into the garage that I'm sure wouldn't get zoning approval today, but charmed me as a very young child as it looks like it was part of a Fisher-Price playset, and I always hoped we would drive up it when I saw it. We did not so many times. I wasn't quite ready the one or two times we did and almost missed it. It took me a long time to put this together, but this is the same garage of my other hazy childhood memory of this place, stuck in a traffic jam going down the corkscrew exit after a handful of Cardinal games. I like to think of myself as pro-St. Louis and not much for finger-wagging, but I can't help but think this scene would be a bit unsettling to bright-eyed visitors, and it gets worse the closer you look. Everything else immediately around here seems to be okay for the most part, other than the neighboring 100-year-old Railway Exchange building at the moment, or would be without the interference from this remarkable block of blight in legal limbo. I didn't find much succinct information on the variety of eateries seen here and when they roached out, but Pharaoh's Donuts is still around in a new location around the corner, a place I had never even heard of until I filmed this sign here, which illustrates my earlier point about being oblivious to all that was here in better days. On the corner of Olive and 7th stands a historical holdout with an interesting tale for you when it comes up later, after several minutes of quiet looking around. This is the Gill Building, constructed in 1910 for a jewelry dealer and host of shops and restaurants until about 2002, when famous Barr effectively kicked out its residential owner with an occupancy technicality, leaving it abandoned for years until a 2010 purchase and restoration for office space that questionably has active tenants today. It turns out that was all the synopsis I had time for in the small amount of non-focused footage I had, as I found out all that juicy stuff afterward. Of course, I would like to see all of it saved and preserved in function, except for that parking lot, but I'm sure it's already way past economical sense if there isn't a design issue that makes restoration impossible, and very few people would share that view. It's of a bygone time in architectural design that's disappearing like the rest of it, and we struggle to save stuff 3 times older than this as it is, which begs the question, how will stuff like this in America ever be old enough to be worth saving if we replace our baseball stadiums every 40 years, as we would a coffee filter? Here in January 2025, it looks about the same, with a few more edits in the graffiti. At least they got the street done at some point, and it's not tourist season in this footage either, but logic dictates a year's worth of visitors may have noticed our dirty laundry. I'm guessing this is the 79th board replaced here since my last visit. Well, the last thing to do is check on the substation status without breaking my neck, and thank you for watching.